So you dropped out of high school with intentions of starting a frog racing YouTube channel, and you want to know which focal length will flatter my face the most as I race frogs to my cat. Well, you might want to know some stuff. We're going to test every focal length I own right now, from this ridiculous 10mm to like a super flattering dramatic 90mm. What is the best focal length for YouTube life? Is it the rat boy look you're going for, or do you want to be Prince Charming and actually date a woman one day? It's up to you.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So I think this is an important video because it helps decide which lens you're going to get. This is very important. Your lens purchase is the most important part of your camera kit. So like, is it ultra wide and vloggy, or do you want a little more dignity and punched in? But there's caveats that come with all these focal lengths. So let's talk about what happens when you film on each one. So right now we're on the DJI Action 4 with stab turned off, ultra wide, ridiculous like 10mm lens. You would never do this. You could, but like the ultra wide can be fun. Depends on your studio. You probably wouldn't hold it here. The cool thing about an ultra wide like this is that you can be super close to the camera, and that means technically you could get away with a shotgun mic on top. Okay, now we're on a 16mm lens, full frame, Sony a7S III with the Viltrox 16mm 1.8. The reason I showed you the action cam is because you might not be able to afford anything more. So like, you start with an action cam, can you get away with it in the studio? As long as your light is bright enough, you'll look pretty good. It's not going to be full frame in its abilities or origins, but see, now you have some more dignity. You have having the Action 4 in this means I can't press an on-off button. My show has no dignity whatsoever. So your full frame now, ultra wide 16. In my opinion, 16mm is a very goofy look, but fun. It depends on what's in your studio. Now we're showing that the earth is flat, proven by science, and that there's lights over there, there's an eagle up there. Like, you can have a fun studio, like you got all kinds of stuff and you want to show it off and your long arms, and like, look how I'm relating to you now. People say like the closer you are, the more you're relating to your audience. No one wants to relate to Rat Boy. He's never invited to Thanksgiving. But whatever, we're close. It feels close too. The long compression look, it can be cool, but you're distant. You have a cold heart. So 16mm, fun, goofy, ultra wide. You could get away with a shotgun. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, now we're on an 18mm Zeiss Batis 2.8 instead of 1.8. This is a little more dignified, I find, than the 16. It's not as fun, but it's less goofy, but it's more reasonable. You can still vlog with it. So you're ultra wide, you're having fun. It's slightly less distorted than a 16. You're still ugly as hell. You're eating rat food, but like, it's okay. But comparing to the Viltrox, you have a wider lens there and more tone. But in my opinion, Zeiss will have a 3D separation look that Viltrox will lack. Which do you prefer? Neither? Okay. Okay. But I highly recommend you do not cheap out on your lens. You go for a Zeiss or a Leica or a Voigtlander or something nice. Canon L lenses, EF, Nikon old F lenses, something like that. Okay, now we're on a 20mm. This is also a fairly common focal length. This is the Voigtlander 20mm 3.5 on a Canon EOS R. It's very old. Everything about this system is spilling its age, along with my gray hairs and the beard. Sony has their 20mm 1.8. I think Panasonic doesn't have one. Nikon has a much bigger version of a 21.8. So it's a pretty common thing. Could you get away with a shotgun? I don't know, kind of. I doubt it. You can still vlog with it, but now this is a manual focus lens. So we're getting into, you have to think about this. Are you going to buy a manual focus lens? Because 20mm, you can still tell, okay, I'm in focus. Not bad. Once you get further away, you really have to rely on like tapping to double expand your screen and can I see it? Can I see the peaking? Is my screen good enough? Is it a Sony screen? Those little Kodak things that they've been using for 10 years. So here's a 20 mil. Not bad. Still distorted. Still freaky. No one will buy this lens off me, but it has some 3D pop. Huh? No? Okay, now you're starting to have some dignity. You're a 24mm lens, Canon 24mm 1.4L lens. The tonne increased too much. In fact, I would, if you don't mind, back the hell away from me, Batman. So like you keep yourself dignified. The funny thing is, with all these focal lengths, like we saw Rat Boy in the beginning, he's not ugly, he's just too close to your camera. Now that you have 24mm, you can back it off a notch, and you're actually quite dignified. You could be invited to a dinner. You might be one day. You'd have to wear a suit. But 24mm is now considered, you're not ultra wide anymore, you're just a wide angle. And it's still distorted as hell. Like your face is still elongated. You can smell flowers and like determine, oh, that's a sunflower in mid-May, because your nose is so long. But it's somewhat acceptable in society. 24mm is, you're on the cutting edge of vlogging abilities. You do now have to fully extend your arm out with a tripod extended pretty far. So it's like, it's a nice look for vlogging, but it's harder for most people and it's heavy and you're probably weak. You're a vlogger. You didn't do much to take care of your body. That's unfortunate. You're not in the monkey strength program, of course. So like, it's beyond you at this point. But 24, you could vlog with it. Now, you have so much dignity, it's disgusting. You could be like reviewing purple like crowns or something. We're now in the 35mm Voigtlander. 21.2. Are you in focus? You don't even know. Hardly ever, but now you have to be farther away. It's a much better look than everything we've seen so far, in my opinion. 35, you're starting to get into like, this is portrait videography type of thing, but we're starting to get pain in the ass type of stuff. Not only did I have to back away and push the camera back, I had to move my mic stand out, so now I'm far away. It's really hard to judge. Right now my screen, I tapped in so it's 4 times the zoom. All I can see is this in the frame. So it's like this tapped in, and still, I always wonder if I'm in focus. If you have an auto-focusing lens, I mean, you could just do that. The cute little Zeiss 35mm 2.8. We could have done that, but I do prefer the look of the Voigtlander. I'm surprised. I'm shocked. I saw it side by side. I don't know if it's just the tonne or what, but hot damn. So 35, it's a nice length. It's just harder to do. You got to worry about lighting. I have the worst lighting. It's just bounced off a wall right now, but whatever. We'll deal with that at another day. 35, not bad. My God. Zeiss 55mm now. Now we're getting like, holy, is he like a king? Like, which country is he king of? It's a beautiful look, but like, I had to back away even further. I brought my mic with me. It's not even close to me now. Why did I? That's better. Zeiss 55 might be my favorite lens ever made. Fantastic. The look, the pop, everything about it. Compared to the 35, it's nice, a little wider. You might prefer that. It's more of an environmental portrait video type of thing. You bring more of the background life into your heart. Or this, we punched in, separated almost everything. Even though it's a 1.8 now instead of 1.2, we might even have blurrier background. I doubt it. But like compared to Rat Boy in a side-by-side, who would you take advice from? He could offer you like which direction to take in the sewer to get to the pizza store faster. And like, I would trust him for that, but anything else, I don't know. But compared to 24mm, you can see the distortion. Even though you thought it was less distorted than the ultra-wides, it's actually quite distorted still, an elongated nose. 50 is a nice focal range to be in. It's just a pain in the ass. You gotta separate yourself and build your studio around it. And then you have to plan what's back there. Do I have I have a scooter going right into my ear right now? Like, things are hard to get right. Okay, now we're talking. You've rearranged your entire life to get this shot. I had to move my scooter. We're way back. Do you even have a long enough cord for your microphone to reach that far away from your desk? Or do you have a portable thing with you that might be nice? Zoom F3? Anyone? Huh? Little floaty 32 bits? I don't mind you. So right now, we're on the Canon EOS R with the Sirui 55mm 1.2. Am I in focus? I can't even see the screen. So like I had to focus on the mic. I moved it back to where I thought my eye might be focused on that. I cannot judge. So like if you have an autofocusing, this is what's replicating the 85mm since I don't have one yet. I am eyeing that Zeiss Batis 85mm 1.8 for Sony. Oh, I tell you, it might happen. So like 85mm, that's the known flattering portrait photography length because you're so far away, and that's all that matters. I used to think it was the focal length of the lens that changed your face. So when I was vlogging on my Canon G7X, I would try to zoom it in to 50 because I heard that was flattering, but really that just zoomed in. I didn't change the length, so I remained ugly for a long time. And so if you back away from the camera, it's kind of fun. It's just very hard to do and annoying. But if you're outside, it's hard to beat that compression look. Not many people are doing it because it's such a pain in the ass. But it's really fun to get a long focal length, focus on something that you're going to be near, and then you go into your shot. You got external lav mic. It's fun times. The hardest thing about an 85mm, even though this is 95, would be the lighting. So like I still have my light very far away from me. It's not really doing anything for my face. Ideally, you would have something closer. You build a whole studio. You could do that. Say, okay, I'm gonna definitely use an 85mm, and then you build around that, and then you don't have to move around. It's set up like that. It's just everything's far away. Autofocus would be nice though. So to sum things up, we started off with Ratboy 10mm DJI Action 4. He needs food. Don't judge him on where he gets it. It's fine. You're looking at 95 versus Ratmill 10mm. That's rough. Then we moved on into some dignity. We had Viltrox 16mm 1.8. Not bad. Fun. It's a fun focal length. It's wide. You could have a shotgun mic. You could vlog with that thing. It's heavy. Be real. But 16 is fun. Then the Zeiss Batis 18mm. We sacrificed the tonne for some 3D pop. Some cultures prefer that. Still a very distorted look. You're not going to be like winning contests for how short your nose is, but whatever, decent look. Then we switched to the Voigtlander 20mm. Somewhat similar to the 18, not much difference. A little more dignity, but not much. There's not many 3D popping 20mm lenses out there. Then we moved on into the 24mm Canon. Now we got some super tonne. Not bad, still distorted, but not as much as the ultra-wide freaks. It's a decent focal length. It's one of my preferred for in the studio. You're still close enough to judge focus, even though it's an autofocus lens. You get some tonne. It's an all-arounder. Then the 35mm Voigtlander. Dare we dream that? Tony 1.2. 35, you're still getting some background in the shot, but you also are far enough away that you look like you could be invited to someone's house and not be arrested for it. So like 35 is a nice look. Then the Zeiss 55mm, an even better look to some. And yes, some of these had black pro mists, others had glimmer glass. The Voigtlander had nothing. The DJI had a close focusing filter. So like, not everything is fair in this world. But whatever, 55 is a nice look. 50mm, very common. A lot of camera companies have like a 51.8 cheap budget lens. You could still get a very nice compressed look. And then we moved right on out there. 95mm. You could do it. Right now I'm debating, do I buy a Canon EF 85mm 1.2 or a Zeiss Batis 85mm 1.8 for the Sony? Who deserves an 85mm? Canon EOS R or a Sony a7S III? That's my debate. Now this is mostly for talking head stuff. If you're doing other things, you have to think, like, do you have an exercise show? 24mm is really not enough to get your full body depends on what kind of movements you're doing, but I find 24 mil kind of sucks for doing the push-ups and everything, so like 16 or 18 is kind of nice for that. Or if you have a cooking show and you want to be like a full body and you're preparing recipes, you want to see the table and your body, that could be a 24 mil or 35 even if you back it up a notch. There's many like things to think about here. If it's just dignity that you're after, I think you can get it with 35 mil, and the real question is how far can you get away from your camera? Basically, how big is your house? How big is your room? Did you make a studio? Is it a long room? I think we learned a lot today. What was your favorite focal length? All different spanning systems here. Wow. Based on this, I might sell some lenses. You never know. Ooh, wow. So thank you so much for watching today and buying a Camera Conspiracies t-shirt. That's not it. I'll leave. You learned something. Don't pretend you didn't. Subscribing for more videos. See you next.